And welcome back to Crash Bandicoot Warped. It's been a while since we've seen this idle animation.
The orb commands our attention!
This was the first game to make Coco playable, although she only gets these one-off, well, not one-off, but she doesn't get to be in the regular platforming levels, only in stuff like riding on a jet ski in what appears to be the 17th century Caribbean.
All right.
Yeah, this is one of the big new gameplay styles, riding on a jet ski, which in the original game, the physics were kind of screwy. It is here, but for a completely different reason.
She looks very bouncy, like it wants to go underwater.
Yeah, making this level with more realistic water physics, I'm not entirely sure was a good idea. Because the way that the waves were programmed, I mean, it was bad, but it at least was consistent. Also, that boatman, you jump on him and you get an extra life.
So this does look a little cumbersome.
Maybe not as much as I'm making it look here, just because this is me like trying to get the kinks out, essentially. I hopefully I play better in the later jet ski levels. Fun fact, in the E3 demo for this game in 1998, the original title for this level was "R Matey." Most of the jet ski levels later on are more open-ended. Like, this one's very strict, very linear, but it's just trying to teach you about everything here. Always do a box check. That becomes a habit for anyone trying to do 100% completion in a Crash game.
Oh yeah.
So in World 1, Coco gets 2 levels, and then the third level is a gimmick level that's exclusive to Crash. And in fact, we're going to be playing that right now.
Ooh. Oh, is this a swimming level? Oh,
It sure is!
Oh, my favorite.
Uka Uka and Cortex want tiny get crystals and bring them to big Colosseum in Rome. Crash! Leave them for Tiny, or Crash get crushed!
Crash, what is Colosseum? Is something Tiny eats?
Crash, get to the chopper!
I don't know why he sounds so much like Arnold Schwarzenegger in this.
He really
did in the
does.
original. Anyway, welcome to the swimming level. It's pretty fun, honestly. Mainly because there are several different ways to go faster. For example, the spin attack. You can also hold the A button to swim faster and then tap A to kick your legs forward.
Kind of reminds me of the Donkey Kong Country swimming levels.
Yeah, at least Crash came prepared that he has scuba gear.
I don't know, monkeys just breathe underwater.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Aquatic. They're aquatic mammals. It's cool.
And they can breathe indefinitely.
Exactly.
Yeah, basically the same rules apply about avoiding enemies, and really it's the puffer fish are probably the more annoying enemies, at least in this level.
Graphically very beautiful.
Yeah. And this is a submergible. It's, I guess, a one-man swimmer delivery vehicle of sorts. It has a gun on the front, and if you see the seaweed over there that we just blew up, it is actually something you have to blow up using the gun. And because this works on Yoshi rules, where basically serves as a free hit point, but then you lose the vehicle. So you will lose out on the clear gem if you lose the scuba or lose the submergible before the end of the section.
Really?
Yeah. One thing I'm kind of disappointed with that they didn't keep was the old sound effect for Crash spinning underwater. It had a very unique sound effect, which was something like, which when I was a kid, I thought it was Crash saying time to get warped. I was a very strange child. Maybe I'll put a clip here of the original spinning sound to see how close that impression was.
It's literally just Crash gargling on seawater.
But not on seaweed. Somehow he manages to miss all of that. Actually, no, that's reef. That's just regular coral reef. I don't know why I called it seaweed earlier.
Hello, clear gem.
And we have one more level. This is Coco's other type of level. There is one gimmick level later on that can be done by either Crash or Coco, but that was actually something that was added in the Sane Trilogy. It was locked off to one or the other for no discernible reason in the original. I guess they didn't have time to.
So they play the same. There's no advantage to picking one or the other. But...
Correct. Unless you prefer one model or the other, I guess. So you may recognize that tiger from the intro cutscene. This is the new mount for the game. His name is Pura. And he shows up in these levels that are set in ancient China during the construction of the Great Wall of China. In fact, if you look at those, the banners there, it actually says, I think, a 10,000 mile wall, which is the Chinese name for the Great Wall.
Interesting. They're playing the history game here a little bit.
Yeah. Like I said in the first video, the time trial stuff was just an excuse, or not the time trial, the time travel stuff was just an excuse to have more variety in the level design. And you have to memorize when you can use the springboards and when you should avoid them, because there are boxes over there. Pura does have a charge move, similar to how Polar had the dash, but the thing is that Pura can charge forever, basically, at the cost of basically not being able to control him at all.
So it's the Gears of War run.
Yeah, actually, I hadn't thought of it that way, but yeah, that is actually a very apt analogy. Also, a minor detail that in the original, Coco could only just walk around very slowly. She didn't have any of Crash's moveset.
Oh, that's right.
And this is a design decision that I don't know how I feel about it. It's just weird that when you unlock a boss, you have to beat that boss before you can play any of the other levels again. It's not necessarily a good or bad decision. It's just weird. Anyway, let's go beat up Tiny again. He clearly didn't learn his lesson from last time.
Crash! Coco! Stole the pretty crystals! Tiny, take them back in Gladiator Arena!
All the boss fights are much more set-piecey, I guess is the word. And it helps to hide that they're basically just as simple as they were last time, but they look prettier.
Got a lot going on in the background.
Yeah, as Tiny mentioned earlier, we're in a gladiatorial arena, and basically Tiny jumps around, and then he gets tired, we spin him, and then there's an extra wave. And of course, because this is a gladiatorial arena, they're lions.
Clever. I like it.
Yeah, this is by far the simplest boss, as you would expect from the first world. Although there is one interesting wrinkle about it, which we'll get to in the bonus content.
I do like how Tiny is dressed like a gladiator, but wearing sneakers.
Exactly. And so I mentioned before in the end of the Crash 2 LP that you get special moves for defeating the bosses in Crash Bandicoot Warped. As we will do here. So this is our first special move. But first, we gotta spin the body around.
Humiliate him.
That's actually very important for a boss fight much later in the game. Anyway, we've now learned the supercharged body slam, which is pretty useless, but it changes the animation for Crash's body slam a little bit, and it allows him to break certain crates. And there's a couple other quirks to it that we'll see in the next video. And of course, for every boss fight, I will show the original version.
So really the same set pieces.
First of all, look at this amazing transition from cutscene to gameplay in 1998, ladies and gentlemen.
Very well done.
Really flexing their muscles there. Anyway, this is the other reason why I showed off this fight, because there's a famous exploit where if you go into the top left corner, you can't get touched by the lions at all. And in fact, there is a slight reference to that. If you go into the same spot in the Sane Trilogy, the same thing happens, but, well, it is a cheesing tactic, so they throw cheese at you. I love that so much. And here are the other death animations. There's a slightly different animation for getting squished by Tiny as well.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right, that's
like something out of
gruesome.
Itchy and Scratchy.
A little bit, yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of variations on the same death animation for Coco. Keeping in mind that this was the first time she was playable, so a lot of the death animations she gets in the Coco exclusive levels are pretty tame. Because I guess they didn't want to have a game that advocated for violence against young girls, I guess. Notably she never actually dies. She just sort of gets stunned a little bit.
I like the whistle, the classic whistle. Ooh.
Yeah, take it one for the team. Good job, Pura. Yeah, this game is going by pretty quickly, but Crash 3 is my favorite, mostly, I think, for nostalgia reasons. That this was... I mean, I played Crash 2 first, and Crash 3 was just such a huge improvement for me in every way. That, I don't know. I guess I was too young to really form any coherent arguments about the non-platforming levels.
The first time in your life you can remember sequels actually meaning that the gameplay improved incrementally.
Yeah, I think it might have actually been one of the first times I really thought about a sequel at all. I don't think my media studies capacity was that large at that time. So anyway, next time we're going to start World 2, and we're also going to be, for the first time, figuring out what those... You've seen some yellow stopwatches come up mysteriously a couple of times throughout the LP, And now we're going to find out what that's all about.
Well, it's about time we find out what that's all about.
Hey!
Hey!
Jokes! Subtitle jokes! There's jokes in this LP, ladies and gentlemen.
We make the jokes!